Learning in progress.
Let it begin.
Okay, sweet. So, Eden, thank you so much for meeting with me today. We're basically just going to do a little rundown of what it's been like to work together. And I have a bunch of questions for you, and you get to answer them as much or as little as you want, and just give all the details about how this experience has been. And don't hold back. Like, tell us everything. So, I want to start with where you were in your life, specifically in your fitness part of life, before we started working together. So just dive into that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny sitting and like reflecting on the past few months because how long have we been doing this now? 4 months?
It feels like a year, but it's only been 4 months. It feels like we've been together for a long time.
I know,
Dating.
like this. Um,
Literally.
yeah, before I started, I sat down last night and I was kind of reflecting on this and I went, "Oh my gosh, 4 months have gone by. That's so crazy." But like my life has changed a lot in 4 months. And before starting this, I feel like I had kind of reached like this crazy built up breaking point with not only my health, but my eating habits, my sleep habits, any kind of routine or boundaries that I had tried to set myself up for success were like out the window gone. I really had nothing in place. I was just like floating in the wind, which sometimes it's okay to roll with the punches, but I think I'd been almost doing that for too long. Um, Physically, my health was suffering a lot in terms of like I had a knee injury on my right patellar tendon, and that was stemming from August of 2021. And it had left me really like scared to go back to the gym and do certain movements. And I know that was a big thing when we first started talking. I said to you, I was like, I'm drawing a line. We're not doing squats, we're not doing lunges. And you were like, oh no, you will be doing them, but you will be doing them feeling strong and confident. So it's nice to now be 4 months in and be like, oh, I do that every week. And I do not only like weight specific and training specific movements, but I'm skiing and there's no pain. Like I used to come in from skiing and ice my knee and pop like 3 Aleve and cry for an hour. So that is something that, yeah, I'm like, that's not fun for anybody.
No.
So yeah, my physical health was suffering a lot. And my body was trying to show me signs that for someone my age, like over the last year and a bit, 2 years, my body was giving me signals that were like, you're not healthy, things aren't good, you need to like do a check-in and recenter. But I think the problem was that my mental health was like left me feeling too overwhelmed to really take sufficient action to change any of these habits, let alone know where to start. So that was kind of where I was before. And I think that leading up to actually reaching out to you, I'd followed you for 2 years and I was like, this girl's very cool. But not only cool, but you're knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about. And that was a big key point that drew me towards you because I've had trainers in the past and nothing negative against them. But I think, you wouldn't go to have open heart surgery from someone who wasn't trained as a cardiologist and a doctor to do those things. So why not have the same knowledge and body of knowledge to access with a trainer like yourself? So that was why I waited before I reached out to you.
I'm
But
like, did
hindsight,
she go to school to do this? Does she know what she's talking about?
I'm like micro analyzing you, but in a good way. um,
Oh, I think it's
and
perfect.
like in hindsight, I wish I'd done it sooner now. But I think that some other choices that I was coming to crossroads with before reaching out to you was that I had like made the choice to pause pursuing dental school, and I'd finished a year of dental school and been like, I won't make it through another 4 years of this, let alone to 29 as a healthy young adult, if I keep going on this path. And a lot of those indicators were like my high cortisol and my stress hormones being insane levels. And then that kind of shifted my main goal and focus for 2024 was that I wanted to drop out of dental school and put my health first, because while I was in dental school I kept saying to myself, oh, I'll just wait till 5 years from now to focus on my mental and physical health. Like I'll just grind and let my school do the work. But my body was like, that's not going to happen. Actually, like you will burn
Body's
out.
like, shut up, not doing
Yeah, you will crash before that happens. So I think 2024, my goal was put my health first, but I didn't really feel like I had the support to take the leap alone. And it's not that my family and friends wouldn't have been supportive of it, but I needed to receive support and guidance from someone who is a qualified professional such as yourself. So that was key for me. And that's my TED talk for that question.
That was perfect. No, thank you so much. That like it's so funny too that you're mentioning all these things because it really has only been 4 months, but we have gone through I'm saying it like it's me. You have gone through so much growth. It's crazy. And not only physically, but like so much mental growth,
Yeah.
way better with like, and I know I'm not a therapist, anyone watching, but we like talk a lot about like boundaries and like boundaries with like your mental health, with your time, with your energy, with your grocery shopping, with your meal prepping, with your training, and like talking about like the mindset side of things. And I've noticed in you the biggest change and shift in your mindset, which is now trickling into your habits, and now your body's starting to show the impact of those positive habits. So I know it's funny to hear all this because I'm like, oh yeah, your knee was fucked up when we started, and now it's like a not like it's a non-issue. Like it's
No,
like, and like we fixed that up real quick. Like maybe
very,
in like the first 2 months, you're like, oh yeah, I feel totally good. And
yeah,
then same with like your cortisol numbers are back in a really healthy range, which I don't think that was all what we did, but I think a lot of what we did contributed to it majorly.
absolutely.
And now we're just like kind of riding this wave and like setting new goals and trying new things, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to shift has been great because nothing is, stagnant. Life is always changing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You always hit your goals, which is the key here. And like when you hit a goal, it's like, all right, what's our next goal? Like, let's keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I kind of already answered this slightly, but I would love to hear it from you. Is what has the impact been that this program has had on you in your life and also on your injuries? Because that's really important to talk about too. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
impact.
Yeah, again, made some points about this just because I want to make sure that I'm covering everything because I think there's such a vast body of knowledge that has been like affected through this whole process and impacted me positively. But I think the shreds model, and this was something I was thinking about last night, the shreds model that you use, where we talk about like sleep each week, hunger, recovery, energy, digestion, stress. It's crazy how much each week those things fluctuate. And it kind of centers you in being like, okay, how has this impacted my weekly routine, monthly routine, yearly routine? And it's nice to be able to go back and reflect on those. So I think that utilizing that tool, um, it's just positively changed me in the fact that it's improved my sleep habits. I have a bedtime routine. I feel rested enough to take on like my busy days as a dental hygienist, but then also like my weekends are busy and outdoor activities and skiing and hiking and all kinds of stuff. Secondly, I feel like it's made me very mindful and educated about my eating habits and specifically macros. And I think the really cool thing that you do specifically that I haven't had in the past with other programs is you have the weekly calls with all the girlies and we get to learn about different things. So one of our, check-in weekly videos that we did, you were able to give us all the tools to be as hands-on with counting your macros or understanding how to calculate, your fats, your proteins, your carbs, those things. Or if you don't want to be hands-on, the like effort that you put into customizing those for us and understanding how they need to change and not just be static is really helpful too. Because if it's a week where I'm like, I'm so busy, I just want to look at my app and be like, this is what Jenna says I'm going to do, I'm going to do it. And then bada boom, bada bing. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool that I've become very mindful and educated about my eating habits and my macros and knowing like how much food my body as a 5'1" small girl needs because I used to sit there and look at how much food my boyfriend would eat and I'd be like, oh, why am I having this much food? But it's because I'm like, I don't need a mountain of rice. I just don't need it. And my body knows that now and it's happy with how things are. Um, and then I think another thing that I've learned about myself through the shreds reflections is that I 100% wouldn't have taken the time in my weekly schedule to sit and like reflect on my strengths and my weaknesses. And I've kind of realized that past Eden is very different to 2.0 Eden. And that's another thing that we've talked about, manifesting your next version of yourself or your improved version of yourself. And that's exciting, but it's also been okay to reflect and realize that maybe the person that I used to be isn't someone that I actually even wanted to be at the time. But and that's okay. It's maybe just that I've always been a yes woman to everything, and maybe just not the right things. Like I used to be like, yes, I'll come drinking on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that is something so foreign to me now, instead of prioritizing my rest and my health. And then also knowing the people who support you after implementing these changes in your life are your true support network. So that was a really big one. And then how has this impacted me specifically with my knee injury? Like we were kind of saying, right when we started in October, it was like our key focus of just being in the gym and doing small movements. And I was like, wow, I've never just come into the gym to do something that like it felt so insignificant compared to like I'm going to go lift really heavy weights or like do an hour of cardio or something like that. But it was all these small movements that I didn't think that my knee needed, but it really did. And it responded so well, so quickly to things, that it was just like building base blocks for there to not be pain or stiffness or soreness. Or I know a lot of people who have like knee issues could relate to the feeling of like, my knee is wood right now. Like it feels like wood. So yeah, I think it's impacted me immensely to have a strong foundation for my knee to like hopefully never again relapse into an injury. And even if it were, God forbid, if it were to happen, I'd feel like I have the tools to strengthen it from the ground up again. So, yeah.
I love that you said that because sometimes, like, when people do start like injury rehab work, they're
Mm.
like, what is this? This looks dumb. And I'm like, trust me, bitch, it fucking works.
It does. It does.
Yes,
But you
because we're
sit there
used
and
to seeing.
like, you're
Oh, go
like,
ahead.
we're like, why am I doing this static like the knee cars that I do, and I do them every day before I do any form of my like lower body workouts. And I remember doing them at the start and being like, what is this?
You're like, okay, I'm gonna believe you. No, but seriously, because we're so used to seeing things online where it's like, and this is no shade to bodybuilders because they
No.
work damn hard for their sport, but
Mm.
everything's so like bodybuilder, blah, hypertrophy training, blah, and I'm just like, if you just want to like go hiking in the winter and not have sore knees, you don't need that shit. Like, who
Yeah.
cares how big your biceps are? How about we make your knee work? And so, like, when you see people like squatting crazy amounts of weight or like doing clean Olympic lifts or whatever, it's like your knee doesn't really need that right now. Like, let's do this little tiny baby shit that actually fucking works.
Yeah.
Fix, and then we can do all that other cool shit. So,
Yeah.
I love that you brought that up because I'm like, oh, that's so true. I always tell people too, I'm like, this is going to be different than anything you've ever done. You're going to think it's weird. I promise it will work. And then look at us. No more knee pain.
No, like literally none. And that's the thing, I can go back and reflect on our weekly check-ins, and it's kind of like we always have that check-in of how is your injury progressing? And it's literally just been like, oh yeah, it's fine. And I just skim, like I skim,
It's good.
feels good, feels great. Thank you. Bye. Next question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. And you can do your skee ball now.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you said that though, that now it's like, now you're just like, no problem. It's all good. Everything's fine. Because before, it was always on your mind. And you were like, oh, I don't know if I can do this because of my knee. And then I don't know if I can do this because of that. And then I don't know if I can do this. And like your knee was always like,
The back of my mind.
yeah, like
Lurk.
always kind of like controlling what you did that day. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe I shouldn't go with friends today because we're gonna go do this activity. Then my knee's gonna get sore, and then I'm gonna have to leave early. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
fuck that shit. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want because your knee's like, bitch, we're good.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Strong and mighty.
I love that. I know. I love that you said you really appreciate the shreds. By the way, anyone listening, shreds is my check-in process. We check in every week, look at your shreds, sleep, hunger, recovery, energy, digestion, stress, and see how you're doing every week. But I love that you said this because I think in the last 4 months, you've maybe missed two shreds, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like the most consistent person ever with your shreds, but it goes to show because you've seen probably out of any of my girls, and everyone works incredibly hard, but you are the most consistent with this. And in my opinion, you've seen the most growth because of how consistent you are.
Mhm.
And yeah, I just love that you love that. And then it's like really impacted you positively. And it shows in the results that you're getting as well. So good job.
Yes, thank you.
Doing it. Okay, now time to celebrate.
Yeah.
Where are you now? Since starting the program, we're 4 months in. What's life like now?
Life is good. Life is very good. This was a big one when I reflected. I was like, damn, I've written so much. So I apologize if I talk for a little bit here,
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, I think I'm definitely still in the process of learning new things each week. And things and goals are always shifting just as life shifts. But I'm in a wonderful place mentally and physically, 4 months ago compared to where I was before. Because the like night that I reached out to Jenna, I was like sitting there looking at my dinner, crying while eating. And I'm like, this is so unhealthy. I hate this moment in time. I never want that again. So I don't sit and eat my dinner crying anymore. I'm stoked to eat my shrimp rice bowls because if you know me, I love my shrimp fried rice bowls every week. We're on week 20 for lunch and I'm still eating them. Each to their own. But yes, I enjoy my food and I enjoy how it nourishes me and makes me excited to go and tackle my tasks for the day. And kind of feeding into that, I guess I would say I'm a lot more organized than I was. I will 100% always be the one to say that I probably have undiagnosed ADHD. The doctors don't want to give me medication, and that is quite all right. But not being an organized person and procrastinating things has like been a strength of mine for a long time. So now I'm feeling a lot more organized. Everywhere I go, I have a calendar, like a physical written calendar, not just my phone, because that's a distraction in itself. And then I always have my little journal with me and any kind of book of choice that I'm reading at the moment. And this is really nice because I can plan out my weeks with to-do lists or important tasks, events, deadlines, all those things that I want to achieve in either a week or a month, to set myself up for success in the weeks to follow and months to follow. And just so that I don't feel overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, last minute deadline, I've got 18 things to do today and I don't have enough time in 24 hours of the day. And so, yeah, you've really helped me with recommending schedules that have helped immensely. I think another thing that we've touched on in the past too is that the program is basic, but we've said from the beginning that it being basic is what makes it so realistic and attainable. It's not like this looming thing over you each day of being like, oh my God, I have so many things I need to do. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I have so many things I need to do. Like, how am I ever going to get it done? But I think having the list of, all right, I'm going to hit my checklist of my water intake, my macros intake as best as I can today. You're not going to be perfect every day, but I think if you strive to be within certain goals and, okay, maybe my little tasty treat doesn't fit today, but tomorrow it's something to look forward to and make room for. In addition to having a checklist for my workouts and my warm-ups, especially that was something I never used to do, was warm up. So do not work out on cold muscles, my friends.
Don't feel
Ever. We don't skip warm up and we don't skip cool down. And then yeah, just having a nighttime routine and sleep. So I think organization is a really big thing of where I'm kind of sitting at now. I'm really mindful now too about how I don't like deviating from my schedule because of how it's like might affect my energy and my emotions, and just the simplicity of my days has made me much more calm and been able to prioritize my health feels really good. So that's nice. Third kind of takeaway is that I love the gym and I love lifting weights. I know maybe not everyone does. And it's funny at work, I'll talk with girls and they'll be like, No, I'm a cardio queen and I'm like so slay. I love that for you, but I like do not put me on a stair climber for longer than 10 minutes because I will hate my life. So I love lifting weights and I think it's been really rewarding to see my progress not only in my strength and my mobility and my stamina. And it's really, really nice to have the app that you use to lead my workouts and make them, again, relatively mindless because I don't have to open like I used to do this. I'd open a note in my phone and try to track the weight that I was doing on that certain set that week. Now I just go into the app. I'm like, this was my weight that I was at. This is how many reps I did or how long I held this for. So it's really rewarding and it's impressive to see how my knee specifically has been able to progress and handle movements and weight that I never thought that I would again do after injuring my knee. I think one thing that I have been telling you in our little reflections post workout is anything like single leg specifically movements, they're not only pain free, but I can complete them and feel like I can now increase weight and feel really strong. And then just also with squats and lunges because those were kind of my arch nemesis. I was very afraid
Yeah.
to do them
You were
again.
like, we're not doing these. And I was like, yeah, we are.
Exactly. And because that was the thing is I think like I don't have an etiology of exactly what I did when I, partially tore the patellar tendon, but I'm 99% sure it was lunges. So yeah, that's why I was scared of them, but that doesn't happen no more. So very cool to see
Yeah.
my progression in strength that way. And then yeah, that's pretty much my reflection on that. I think I've hit everything.
Yeah, you did. I like forced you. I love that you were like, yeah, you recommended I did a planner. I was like, oh no, no, no. I was like, go get a fucking planner. You need one. And you're like, okay, because we would have called like you're very much like me, where I think I'm also undiagnosed ADHD. I think yours is more intense than mine. But I remember when we first started, like, I have so many things to think about. And I was like, okay, let's write them down and then let's just cross them off one at a time. And you're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then I like forced all of you. We did that one workflow training, and well, I was like made it a suggestion, but I was like, I really think everyone should do this because when you are so busy with life, relationships, you want to hit your training goals, you want to hit your eating goals, you want to make sure you're going to bed on time, blah, blah, blah. Just to have a little bit like, and humans are creatures of habit. We love routine. Just to have like a set schedule of like, okay, every day I wake up at this time, I eat at this time. Every night I turn my lights off at this time. I put my phone away and then I go to bed at this time. Like it starts with that, literally. And like the more you do that, those times in the day become really important to you and really special. And then you protect them and you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm not coming out because I go to bed because I feel fucking good when I get a good rest. And like now it's part of your life. And
Yeah.
then to-do list, like it helps. And I know not everyone's a big to-do list person, but if you got thoughts floating around in your brain, they're just gonna keep bouncing around until you put that shit on paper and then put an X through it.
Get them out of there because it's not healthy. And I always used to like to anyone who I've ever said this to, I take it back and please don't like I hope you took my advice with a grain of salt, but I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I have this little box in my brain and I just if I don't want to deal with it, I just put it in the box and let it live in there." Like, no, that is not healthy at all. Write it down, talk to someone about it, talk to yourself about it. That was another
Yeah.
big that we realized this past week is like even for me I can write tasks down but I find it very hard to like reflect on dear diary today I'm feeling like this. I don't do that but I will send Jenna a 17-minute long voice note being like, dear Jenna, I feel like I'm going crazy. Please listen to me rant. Thank you. Goodbye. And then I feel better. So unfortunately, Jenna has really taken the brunt of my long voice note.
50%.
But even just opening the voice memos app in your phone and being like, okay, I'm going to just talk to myself about this feels a lot better than putting it in the box. Trauma
Yeah.
box doesn't work.
No, fuck that trauma box. I'm forcing you. Sometimes I'm like, what's on your mind today? Like one of the check-in pillars, stress. I force you to tell me. And you're so consistent in check-ins that when you have an off day, I'm like, oh yeah, she's not telling me the truth. And then I'll be like, hey, something was off here. Want to elaborate? And then it's like, well, actually, this happened in my life today. And then I know, like, no more trauma box because it's not serving you and it's in there. It hurts you. And now look at you. Your brain's a lot happier and she can handle things
Yeah.
with so much more like confidence and certainty now because we've like worked on problem solving with like simpler things. Like we worked on problem solving with like, okay, I have a shit sleep. How do we get better at that? Boom. And like the more you get better at doing that, you're like, oh, I have this like big issue at work, but I'm such a good problem solver. I can figure it out.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh,
God, this
God.
is fucking sick wins. All true too. The knee thing makes me really happy. I remember in your like original intake, you're like, yeah, no squats, no lunges. And I was like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yes. Yeah. And I was hesitant. I was like, oh, okay. Like this, like, I don't know what they were called, but we had those things where I'd be on a box and then you'd have me like jump down and like land very heavily onto
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Hip
that
squat.
feels like
Yeah.
that is not going to feel good, but it didn't hurt and it got better. So,
Yeah, it's also a confidence thing, and I say this saying all the time, reps remove doubt.
yeah,
Sometimes we're like we're doubting so much in our mind, but we haven't even tried the thing we're doubting. So
yeah,
I'm like, why don't you just try it and see what happens? And then you do, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it's fine. I'm
yep.
like, I know.
Let's
But
do
yeah, like you need someone's help to get out of your head and into your body and then
it.
actually physically do the thing. And then you're like, oh, and then you have proof that it's okay. And then you keep doing it. And the more proof you build, the more confident you feel, the less doubt you have.
Exactly.
Okay. But we started very small and now we have improved.
We did. Absolutely.
That was a great answer. Thank you so much. Loved hearing.
Worries. Yeah.
Okay, I know you probably have multiple, so say, or maybe you only have one. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but I know you're so thorough in your responses. I love it. So far it's been 4 months, which is
Yeah.
crazy. That has literally flown by. It feels like it's been so much longer.
Mhm.
When you said that, like, oh yeah, it's only been 4 months, I was like, really?
I know.
I was
Weird.
like, we're 6 months in, and you're like, nope, we're not. Anyway, in the last 4 months, I would love to know what's been your biggest takeaway from this program.
Yeah. That's funny because you were like, you probably have a lot written down, but this is hilarious. I didn't actually write anything for this one. I was like, what has been my biggest takeaway? Not that I don't know
Yeah.
it, but there's a lot. I think,
Or like the most influential takeaway.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think ultimately it's allowed me to kind of go back to my roots, as a child. No, but it's allowed me to like live a very fast paced, active lifestyle that I grew up with, like being an athlete and being a swimmer and a high level field hockey player and like running and hiking and doing all these things and skiing. It's just allowed me to kind of get back to the things that I enjoy, which again was a big goal of mine for 2024. Like I know they're last year's goals, but they still transfer into this year of like, just having a fast-paced lifestyle and being very active and feeling strong and healthy. My goals when we started together, I think that they focused a lot on specifically fitting into my clothes again, but also building a strong foundation of fitness, just so that I can live well into my 80s. Hopefully, that's my goal. I'd really like to be not only like a little self-sufficient 80-year-old lady living in her own home, like don't need nobody, mobile, healthy, and active, not only physically but also like mentally, because you just don't know where life is going to take you. So if there's things that I can do now as a 26-year-old to again build a strong foundation for the years to come, and no matter where my life or journey takes me, those have kind of been my biggest goals, and I still think that they're my biggest takeaways and what I work towards in the end. Because weekly we have all these tiny little goals of like, yeah, I hit this or I hit this off my to-do list, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm like, I see how my grandparents have aged, and I'm lucky to have both sides of my grandparents alive still, but they have very different lifestyles and mobility levels and physical abilities of what they can do at the age they're at. And it's not like scared me, but it's kind of given me a reality check into all right, what do you want your life to be like at that age? So that has probably been my biggest takeaway is setting myself up for hopefully many, many, many years to come of health and mobility and happiness. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
So sweet. Also, if your grandparents' health scares you, you say that. My grandparents' health scares me. I don't want to, like, I love them, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, like, my grandma's got double knee brace, arthritis, severe arthritis in both knees. She needs a
Yeah.
cane, and she's only like 74.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know they're getting up there, but like, I don't want to be like that because it's so
No,
hard to, like, go up and down the stairs. It's so hard for her to drive. Like, you lose your independence as a person.
totally.
I don't want that. So like let's lay the foundation now so that when we're 80, we're doing fucking backflips and wearing high heels and looking sexy.
Exactly. Yeah. And
It's
you know
not
that
backflips, but
it's attainable because like there's that whole argument all the time and people are like, oh well, your genetics are your genetics, like you're dealt what you're dealt, like just deal with it. And I'm kind of like, yeah, no, actually I'm not okay with that, thank you so much. Like
you're literally everything anyone wants is just on the other side of some hard work and it's going to improve. Oh my gosh, if you're comfortable sharing, can you
yeah.
tell us about your scrubs? Remember the scrubs that you could wear and then you
Yeah. Yes. So my scrubs, I'm a dental hygienist and I right before, I can't remember if it was right before we started or right when we started, I ended up having to buy two new pairs of scrubs. If you're in the healthcare industry, the girlies know about figs and the girlies love the figs. The guys also probably love the figs, but I know the girlies love the figs. So my typical size that I had been for years and years and years, I could not fit them anymore. And so I had to go in and like actively be like, all right, I'm sizing up in these scrubs that I'm buying, which was like not ideal. And pants that had fit me for like the past few years couldn't get them done up anymore. And so that was really like difficult mentally. And just getting dressed was not fun. And I like fashion and I like having like feeling comfortable in my work clothes and my scrubs and everything. And, got these new ones in and they're fine and I like them and all. But there had been this one jumpsuit. If the girlies know about the Figs jumpsuit, I wanted it for like a couple years now. And I told myself, okay, you're not allowed to buy it in the size that you are now because, like, no, I want you to fit it in the size that is true to how I feel when I'm at my like health peak. So I waited and I waited and I was like, Jenna, I'm not buying any more pants. I'm not buying any more scrubs till they damn well fit me again. And now not only am I wearing my scrubs from, prior to sizing up, not that even like, I don't even feel the need to be like, this is what size I am in these scrubs because it doesn't matter. But as an actual physical measurement tool, I fit those sizes again. And so, as my little reward to myself, when I was able to fit my old scrubs again, I ordered the jumpsuit, and the jumpsuit fits immaculately. I love her. It's not all about like, ooh, physical compliments, but it's nice like walking into work and your coworkers being like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing on you, or you look so like happy and healthy and fit and toned or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. It is a really nice little like win in the back of your mind of, yay, I can wear this and feel confident in it and comfortable because doing 12-hour shifts and scrubs that are too tight is not fun. So
yeah,
yeah.
oh my God. It gives me chills. And there's something really important that you said right in that moment. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
go back to it because I'm so proud of you for saying that. And I was like, oh fuck, what I'm saying is rubbing off. Yes. Uh, you were like, I don't even feel the need to mention the size because it's not the size, it's the person you know yourself to be
Totally.
looks this way, feels this way, moves this way. And I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything wrong with it. And it's like, whatever, this person might have a smaller body or a leaner body or a bigger body or whatever the goals are. I love that you were like, it has nothing to do with weight and size. It has everything to do with how I feel. And I just love that. I just love that you said that. That was fucking almost brings a tear to my eye because I'm like, wow, my girl, like you're really, really absorbing everything we're doing here. And
Yeah.
I love it because like you're getting more and more in tune with who you know yourself to be. And I love it.
Yeah. Thanks. It is. It's
Success.
a good feeling. It's really nice because it's true. It's like I don't hyper fixate on, oh my God, I'm not a double zero like I was when I was 16 and had like
Yeah.
0% body fat. Like what? No, who gives a shit? Like if
Dude.
you feel good, that's great. I felt good when I was 16. Awesome. Good for, previous young Eden 10 years ago. But at 26-year-old Eden, I also feel really good and healthy and fit and strong. And it doesn't matter if, oh my gosh, I need to size up in my Lulu leggings, like whatever, who cares? If they fit and you're comfortable in them, fantastic.
Yeah. Plus, and that's something I always say to you guys, and I say it bluntly all the time. I've said it a million times. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about what you look like. I do
Yeah.
not. I care about how you guys feel. And if that feeling comes with a different physical body, then
Yeah.
let's go there. And yeah, literally, I just love that you said that. So, plus the only reason our pant size is going up is because that ass is growing.
Exactly. She's thick. She's stupid thick. Oh my gosh, I love
Okay. Okay,
it.
so just to like round out our chat here,
Yeah.
lastly, you're like just such an awesome person to work with. I literally love working with you. You have such good energy. You're so open, you're so honest, you're vulnerable, even though you hate being vulnerable, you're vulnerable with me and I love it. And I want to meet a million more Edens. So I'm almost answering this for you, but I want
Yeah.
to know clearly this program has worked so well for you. We're only 4 months in. I can't wait to see what the next 8 months has in store. Like I'm so fucking pumped.
I know, it gets me excited. I smile really big, my cheeks hurt
I
thinking of
I know, I'm so excited. I'm like, fuck, look at the growth. Now like times it by
yeah.
3 more times. Like, let's see what we can do. Anyway, sorry. Roundabout way of saying, who else would you recommend this program for? Like what type of person, women, not men, sorry, dudes, not allowed. What type of woman would you recommend this program for? Like what's her life like? What does she struggle with? What is
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think literally anyone with injuries, whether it be, I know your focus is you're super good with knee injuries and you've have that lived experience of rehabbing yourself through your injury. But yeah, any women with knee injuries or any kind of physical injury, or anyone who knows that they have the ability to get back to their old self and really like hone in on this is who I know I can be, but they just need like a little helping hand and extreme and like an extremely dedicated and kind professional like lovely Miss Jenna just to lend a hand and encourage you to set new goals for yourself and push yourself in the direction of those goals, all while, being your cheerleader and cheering you on no matter what, and bringing you back to like, okay, if you're feeling overwhelmed, this is again what our ultimate goal is, and, you know, what you're looking for in yourself and in your progression of making yourself stronger, all while fixing those injuries. So, yeah, really, like anyone though, you don't have to have a knee injury to come to sweet Miss Jenna. Like, she's a lovely gal and I love working with her. So, even if you're just like, I don't have any knee injuries, but like I would love to work with someone who's knowledgeable, and not only do you like have this body of knowledge that you're sharing with people, you're constantly expanding that for yourself. Like, you're talking with different healthcare professionals and you're working with so many different girls. Like, there's nurses and there's hygienists and there's RMTs and teachers and all these things that like our bodies do a lot for us in a day. And, you know, just feeling like you have a support to be like, okay, this is going to work for you and we're going to get you strong and be able to do all the things you want in a day, it's really nice to have that support from another person. And sometimes I personally, this is my personal opinion, I think sometimes it's good to have a line drawn between having that person be your partner or your family. Like, not that I feel like now, like we're besties, but I've also never met you in person, which is crazy. Like that's wild, but you also were coming from a place of like non-judgment, no pre-exposed or predetermined notions about me and myself or my journey. So yeah, that's really nice to have just an unbiased opinion. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, knee girlies, this is fucking for you. And people, I know I like that as well. People that, don't get me wrong, love our partners, love our siblings, love our family, but like it's family. It's
Yeah.
like, well, I'm just gonna tell you to shut up and do what I want to do anyway. Whereas like when you have someone unbiased, they don't know your history, it's like, oh, maybe I should listen to you. Okay.
Or you have a very good point. All right, I'm gonna plant that seed, and then it's gonna grow.
Yeah. And then also what you mentioned too about like the array of women that I work with, but like even all like the professions you had mentioned, a
Mm,
lot of these girls are shift workers and you guys are so fucking busy and your shift is always changing. Like the amount of nurses slash like just like people that work in like the medical field that find their way into this program is
yeah,
insane. And I was like, okay, we got to make sure this works for changing schedules. And that's what we've done. Like it's so
yeah,
adaptable to your life, which is like one of the biggest issues people come, like you were saying, like, oh, I could always like get started, but it would never stick. Like, why is this happening? So the busy young professional with a knee injury, that's a woman. This is for you.
or
Okay, well, thank you so much, Eden.
Danny.
Say that again. What?
I said, "Come on down. You're the next contestant."
Literally, we want you. We want
We
you.
do. Seriously, it's a very fun community, and our little group chat is nice, and
Yeah.
just anything that you can share with others. I think that's kind of the whole point of life. Nobody does this alone, so to have a support system is really key.
Hey, oh, thanks, Eden. That was so nice. I
Yeah,
love.
no,
Anyone that was watching, bye. Ending the recording. Thanks for watching.
take care.